Welcome to Sipping Reality X with Jill.
Why am I laughing?
Because I'm saying it really weird and I'm acting funny while I
Meaghan.
say it.
Meaghan.
We're excited.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
We have a good topic to talk about today.
We do.
Wait, you have a hair on your mic. I'm going to grab it.
It's all over the place.
I got it.
I had a piece of hair stuck to Megan's face the other day.
It was. It just...
And it was still attached to my head.
It literally... Yeah. It literally just went whoosh across my forehead and it tickled me. And I was like, what the heck? And I grabbed it and it was still attached to her head. It was just one strand.
So strange.
That was weird.
We are talking about our weekend last weekend.
Yes.
And how that intertwines with the healing that's involved with BDSM.
And sex. Well, I mean, that includes BDSM, but I mean, like, yes. Sex therapy, basically.
Sex therapy.
Sex therapy.
How to experience sex therapy through BDSM with Jill and
Meaghan. That's a good topic right there. Yeah. No,
there
like
we go.
That. All right.
That would be it.
Okay.
Okay. So how was your weekend?
It was really nice. I spent some time with a couple that invited me over for dinner. And it was just the most lovely evening ever. Like,
was there some sexual stuff involved?
Yeah. And it, you know, honestly, I was going there platonically. Well, no, I mean,
not 100%.
No,
platonically.
no, but it was in my head.
But
I'm
you
like,
were okay if it would have been.
Well, no, not that I wouldn't be okay, but it literally, I really thought it was going to be a platonic night. And but that's the great part about it.
I knew it wasn't going to be.
No, but this is the great part about it. Not only because of the discussion we had ahead of time, you know, because, you know, E&M is a very hard thing to
newly engage in.
Yeah, for everyone involved. It's hard to share a partner that you really adore and love with someone. It brings a lot of fears and traumas up to the forefront. So there, you know, we had a discussion about that and everything ahead of time and talked about stuff.
Well, a key to healing through BDSM is communication.
Yep, absolutely, 100%.
Which again, as we always talk about, why it's so important when engaging in BDSM or sex in general, coming into it from a place and foundation of some healing and security already is so essential.
Absolutely. That's why we've talked about this before. The couple that was like, we want to introduce somebody, you know, a third into our marriage. Like, should we do that? Very first question is, do you have a secure relationship? Because if you're doing it to, quote, spice things up, it's going to ruin everything. You need to come from a place of security and trust, and that's when you can bring that stuff. Anyways,
you can't force the security, but once the security is there, then all of a sudden what I'm discovering is all these fantasies that go against everything that you've always struggled with come up, and it's like, wow, to engage in that would be so healing.
Right.
I'll get into that later.
Right. So basically, that is why I kind of came into it.
So tell some details.
Well, no, I'm trying to get there. But that's why I came into it platonically anyways. That's why, you know, because I without expectations.
Yes.
In
respect.
Total respect for each other. And boundaries, you know. There were boundaries placed, but it turned out, I think because of that, it built something really lovely, like this really this great chemistry between the three of us that felt safe, and we did end up that
allowed for details.
We did end up
waiting,
hooking up. I don't know,
reaching behind him and opening her up as he plunged into her.
Yeah, I put him inside of her. Actually, she laid on her back and I rubbed her clit and massaged his prostate at the same time while they were having sex, and it was super fucking hot to watch and be a part of, and super intimate. But before that, we massaged each other. We took turns massaging each other before that, so it led into that. Yeah, and it was wicked intimate, massaging each other like that, 2-on-1. It was...
Anything's better with 4 hands instead of 2.
Oh, God, yeah. It really is. It really is. I just think overall, like, between dinner and the massage and, like, it built so much, like, security and, like, trust and, like, bonding between us that it opened up the sexual part of it because I think all those other things have to come first.
They should come first, even one-on-one.
Yes.
Should come first.
Like, absolutely.
And yet, some people, we're not going to ignore, some people have fantasies of being with strangers, but even that, there's a setup to that.
Right. Well,
not always.
Not always. I do know women. I've read stories where they like fuck their Uber driver. Like, yeah. And they're like,
but that's what they want and what they're looking for. Yeah. It's specific. That kink is what they want to experience and desire. And then they go do it.
But
so
overall,
that's good.
The best sexual experiences have this development of trust and respect and boundaries.
Yes. The sex is always so much better.
And then we cuddled at the end of the night. We all slept in the same bed. And I normally, when I express this to them, that when I sleep somewhere new or have someone new next to me, I can't sleep. Like, I'm up all night. I'm like, oh, shit. I keep waking up like, oh, I'm in this weird room. And, oh, shit, that's a new person next to me. And I can't sleep. But I was like, I don't know, just so fucking comfortable. Just, I don't know. We all slept really good.
Well, and I don't think it's just about healing for you, but having the communication you did with the woman, there was some real healing for her in engaging where she was struggling big time with some jealousy issues and yet wanting to engage in this E&M and group dynamic. And then afterwards, she couldn't stop thinking about him fucking you.
Right.
And that's where that safety and that intimacy and you guys engaging in that opened her now, where she's like, she's having these fantasies. And I can relate to this from my weekend with my fantasies increasing over my weekend. I don't know this woman, but I just knowing the story behind it, I can see how that opened her mind actually desiring and fantasizing about watching him be with you, and how that's turning her on, the thought of it.
And you know why? You know why I think it's turning her on? Because there has been a foundation of respect, and like she knows and can see that I am respecting them and their boundaries. And I think that safety that it brings up in her makes her want to explore that and to experience it.
And once she's able to experience that, the security, it actually builds a deep foundation of security in somebody who's spent their life very jealous and insecure.
And I felt, I told her this, that I feel the same exact way that she does. I have abandonment issues. I have, it scares me to think about a partner that I adore being with someone else, and maybe they're better than me, and like all those fears come up, and it's scary. It's really scary to explore. So I think it's been healing for both of us. And honestly, I told her it was super refreshing because the community...
Well, we know it was healing for him.
Right. He said he felt like the king, king of his house.
I don't think it was healing. I think it was just absolutely
he was like, this is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but it's really been healing for both of us. And I told her how refreshing it is because she's super aware of her feelings.
Self.
Yeah, observing her feelings and herself and being able to communicate that back, which makes me feel safe to explore with them too.
But that's a huge reason why I think it's working. And I've heard of situations that have happened like this that haven't worked.
Right.
And it comes from a lack of, there's a lack of emotional maturity, but there's also a lack of communication and a lack of self-insight.
Right. Yep. And that's why
care for others and being able to be thoughtful of others too. It takes a lot of pieces for it to go well.
She's very lovely, and she seems to have both, just a genuine care about human beings and a very introspective person and a good communicator, and all three of those things together. And I am too. I am all three of those things too. So I think that's what's lent to such a healthy experience so far. So yeah, and that was really healing, I think, for all of us in a lot of ways. And I really look forward to seeing them again, actually. Like, very excited. And I would love to hear about your weekend and how it, was healing for you and experiencing what you did.
Well, you were supposed to be there taking pictures, but talking about the healing of BDSM, there were reasons why it didn't end up being the best fit for the night.
Well, and also, I was being aware of what I needed that night, too. I don't normally do that.
Yes, and it ended up working out just fine.
Yeah, because it was the same night.
Well, I got pictures.
Yes.
So I have the pictures. Okay, good. That's what I really wanted. I was like, oh no, I'm not going to get any pictures. No, I cared about you being there. But anyway, she'll be there some other time.
Yes.
She did miss out.
We have plenty of experiences too.
She missed out on some fun.
Yeah.
So it was me and the man that I'm seeing. And the couple that we often talk about on here.
Yes. Love them.
And we were in a hotel room. And, all sorts of things happened. I mean, where do I even begin? So the setup for the dynamic was that the wife of the couple and the man that I'm seeing were doming me. And then I was going to dom her husband.
So it's an alpha dom, right?
So alpha slave.
Alpha slave.
So I was the alpha slave because I was a sub and a dom all at the same time.
Right.
Now, there's some fun details that we can share. But the healing part of this that I really have been reflective on is that I wrote a writing. It's on our website. It's called, is it just called Conundrum?
I think
it's just the word conundrum. Yeah. And it's all about how extremely opposite I am. I'm actually in the middle of another writing about my extremes. And just the effect of trying to live on these two extremes at the same time as the same person. Like, I'm very innocent, and yet I'm really wild.
You are.
Like
both.
I'm both.
Yeah.
But I still have this innocence that is authentically me.
Right.
Despite being extremely wild. And I live that within the same person.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting. And it's not just that. It's if I eat something, it has to be so hot that it burns my tongue, or so cold, like ice cream. I want ice cream to be so cold that I can't scoop it. I have to take a fork and like a knife to get it out. Right?
Yeah.
I want to chew on it because I want it cold.
Yeah.
Or I want my drink so hot that they literally are burning my taste buds so that I can't feel my tongue for a day.
Yeah.
Like, it's really messed up, but everything's extreme. I really like the summer. I like the heat of the summer. Most people like the fall or the spring. I think more people than anybody say they like the fall. But also, very often spring. Very few people say summer or winter.
Yeah.
And this winter, I really connected with how much I enjoy winter, and there's things about winter that I love and need and desire. But spring and fall don't do it for me.
Right.
I need it to be really hot or really cold. Like, give me snow so I can go snowboarding, or give me the sun so I can bake in it.
Yeah.
Like, one or the other.
Right.
And I'm like that in all things. And it's very hard to live with it. And it was amazing. So let's get to the sexy stuff. It was amazing to be able to experience those two sides of me within the same scene.
Right. Yeah.
It was so cool. And I wasn't sure whether I liked it. It was a new experience. I was very cautious through the whole thing.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't cautious through the whole thing. I thoroughly enjoyed being domed by her and him.
And you were able to let yourself go.
Like never before, ever.
Yeah.
I really trust these people. I was in a room full of 3 people that I really trust, that I'm extremely comfortable with. I really hope that they're lifelong friends, because I just have this security with them that just allowed me to let go for the first time sexually ever in that way.
Right.
And it was just amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful, so extremely grateful for it, and exploring that dom side that I know is in there, but I don't know her yet. It wasn't even fun because it was so new, but then afterwards, every time I think about it, I'm like, it turns me on more and more and more. And so the wife asked me at the end, when we were just talking and discussing what we liked, what we didn't like, all of that, she asked if it made me feel powerful. And I don't know if it did when I was in the moment, but thinking back to it, I'm like, yeah, it did. And the more I think back, the more that grows.
That's interesting.
So they had
it's almost like it's like birthing something inside of you, like it grows. Like when you first, it's like a seed.
It's a seed.
It's like a seed, and then it grows, and then you're like, wow, I really like this.
Yeah, and the fantasy grows in your mind of it.
And it becomes an aspect of you that you didn't even know was there, but it was. It was probably as small as a mustard seed.
Yeah. So I want to set the scene a little bit.
Yeah.
So we walked in, and they had some straps on the top of the bathroom door, so I knew those were for my hands to be strapped up to the door. Have some pictures of that. That happened for a little bit. So the whole setup was they would tease me and then deny me, and then they would give him 6 minutes for me to go tease him and then deny him. He's on a chastity challenge of 30 days?
Yeah, 30 days.
Until April 13th. So he's not allowed to come until then.
Right.
So it was that much more fun because of this whole bigger thing that's happening between the two of them.
Right.
So that was able to play a part in the group scene, which made it even more exciting and fun.
Right.
So the tease and denial for him was even better because it was never satisfied.
Right.
And still hasn't been.
Yeah.
It still won't be for another week, 2 weeks almost for him.
Yeah.
So that's their thing. But yeah, just really fun to have that aspect in there. And so we did all kinds of things. I had never experienced spit roasting. I'd never been with two people at once. So she used a strap on.
Love that.
And so while he was fucking me, she had me giving the strap on, like, a blowjob, like fucking my face with the strap on.
Yeah.
And I had no idea how amazing that is.
I swear to God, it does something to your brain. Because there's so much going on that all you can do is feel the pleasure of everything.
Like, in my life, I have been so judgmental sexually, and I admit that fully, that I have seen things like that, and I'm always like, wow, that woman just lets men just use her. And I'm like, no, the woman's thoroughly and utterly enjoying it. Yeah. Maybe even more so than the men.
Because with those two things going on, it occupies the brain in a way.
But I have such an oral fetish that this man has been bringing out in me.
Yeah.
And I knew I had an oral fetish when I was young because I always had to have something in my mouth. All through school, elementary school, I always had something in my mouth. I always had that. And then I was a cigarette smoker for a while, and that was all about the oral fetish. And at some point that shut down. And this man particularly has intentionally
brought it out of you,
reignited that oral fetish. And I was just all about it on Saturday night. I mean, now I can't stop thinking about it. Oh my gosh. There was a point where she was fucking me with the strap on, and he had me put my tongue out, and he was just rubbing my tongue with his tongue just to stimulate that oral need. Like, he's just knows so much sexually. He's really amazing.
Yeah, kissing while you're being stimulated is amazing too.
Well, that's why kissing during making love and sex or something, when you're just all in each other. Yeah. So all this stuff happened. I won't take too much time because it would take forever to give all the details.
Yeah.
But these are some of the highlights. And then the grand finale was that I didn't think that I would ever be able to do something like this.
I didn't think you were gonna either.
I am shocked still.
Yeah.
So the offer was there to go pee and to feed him my pee.
The one in chastity.
Well, yes. So he was strapped to the ground naked with his hands zip tied to the couch, his ankles zip tied to the couch, and his feet zip tied to the ottoman that was in the room. So he was on the ground through all of this with his eyes covered. And so they had a setup that was available if I wanted to engage. And it was at the very end, so it was like the grand finale.
And you had a choice.
Yes. And he doesn't enjoy this. He doesn't like it, but that's part of what he enjoys from his expression, right? Is that submission, which I'm starting to really understand. And again, the healing in submission, really letting yourself trust somebody.
Yeah.
To let yourself just listen to somebody tell you what to do, even if it's something you don't like and don't want to do. Right. And how it builds a sense of security and this foundation of healing in you.
Well, you're also doing something to please someone.
Yes.
You're submitting to them and doing what they tell you to, so you please them.
Yes.
And that brings you a lot of pleasure.
If you have the desire to please.
Yes,
it does.
When you trust that person, when you have a deep bond with that person, it gives you so much pleasure to submit in that way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very healing.
And I think, and so the wife has never said this to me, and I don't want to speak for her. This is just my opinion of the situation, so I want to make that clear that this is not from her. This is coming from me. I would never want to speak for anyone or put any disrespect into any of this dynamic. How I'm seeing it is like, for her to have somebody else do that to her husband, she really enjoys watching other women take control over her husband.
Yes.
And I can see, again, this is coming from me, not her. I could see how that's like the ultimate power, because she is now in control of this woman and her husband. Right. And I think about the position and the power and the healing and the strength that comes into being able to take on that role where, okay, you do this to him, like, but she's still ultimately in control of what happens between her and her husband. Right. And I don't know, I sat with that for a moment, reflecting on it afterwards, thinking of what that experience would be like for her. Right. I really want them to come on someday.
Yeah,
and share, because they have so much experience.
Yeah, that would be really great.
Yeah, because I'd like to hear it from her.
I would love to just have this discussion. Yeah, I would love to hear it too.
Right, even just to talk to them and hear them share more about their side of things.
Yeah.
But so I think those are like the biggest highlights. We don't want to take up too much time with it all. But the healing aspects of being able to be the conundrum that is me all at once and embody that
and
was
being
really
able to
special.
Let go of yourself. Like all the things that you ever the
self-judgments.
Yeah,
it's
the
very
judgment,
non-judgmental.
Yes. And to be able to let that go and just be and feel. Yep. It is really a special place to be put, honestly.
And when there's that safety, like with you with this couple this weekend and me with our friends, the bond that is created in being able to have that non-judgment, that safety, to be able to explore sexually and the degrading and the things, like the ways that they degraded me, and they were like, oh yeah, you like that?
Degrading
look
and
at
humiliation has always been a hard limit for me.
Yes!
But being with a partner that I
we have to talk about this.
Submit to makes it just I want that from
specific
him.
People.
Yeah.
Yes, I wouldn't. If somebody just came up and degraded me, or a man on an app just degrades me, I'm like, no, you don't get to talk to me that way. No. Who the fuck do you think you are?
Yeah.
Fucker.
Yeah.
Block.
Yep.
But oh my gosh, when this man says things to me, and then with him and her saying things, and he's like, ooh, look at how she just pushes back into that, and then she had the vibrator on me, and I was giving him a blowjob at one point, and so I was pushing back into the vibrator, and he's like, she said something. I didn't catch exactly what she said, but he said, yeah, she does all the work, doesn't she? She just pushes right into that.
Yeah.
Good little slut.
Yeah. Oh,
you know, like,
I love hearing that.
I didn't think I would. Remember just a few months ago, me being like, nobody will ever call me a slut.
Yeah.
And he calls me a slut when we have sex.
Turns you on.
It's turning me on right now.
I know. When I hear that in my ear, it sends me over the edge. From one person. Only from one person.
Well, yes. And that's the thing that we always want to keep saying is it doesn't mean free reign or free right for anybody to treat us or speak to us this way, or for us to do that to others.
Nope.
Not just anybody could step into that scene with the four of us on Saturday and engage.
Nope. You have to have that bond, the respect, the trust. It has to be there.
Well, and that's why I was able to do it. And this is why I love these people so much. I really have this place in my heart that's so deep for these people that I don't even know that well. Right. Including the man that I'm seeing. And I'm not talking about our relationship that's apart from the sexual scene. I'm just talking about the BDSM part of this. Right. That my heart is so deeply connected to these people. I have such a a safety and a trust built with them through engaging, and I desire so much to engage with them, and I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying. I mean, when you've experienced that with someone or people, it brings this part of you out that you want to keep exploring, and you're able
to share that with somebody else. Well, right. You have that bond. It creates a bond,
right? And you have that safety there to enter that place into. It kind of becomes a little addicting.
It is. It is addicting. I can't wait to do it again.
No, it's totally
the group scene.
It's totally addicting.
That's all I want right now.
A safe group scene like that is like,
group scene.
Gosh,
I know.
God.
It is my greatest desire right now.
Yeah.
Is safe group scenes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they're really great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So at one point, I will admit this, because we are unbothered and unfiltered, and although I don't want to, I will, because it came up, so now I'll say it. So early on in the scene, when I had told you that they had straps on the top of the bathroom door.
Oh, right, yep.
Clearly for my wrists.
Yep.
And so when they did that, and had me spread my legs, and I had my arms up, and then they were, she was like flicking my nipples, and he was touching between my legs and things, and I started to cry because I was really embarrassed about my chest, because I've always had small breasts, but I had they were always very small, but they were there, and they were like nice small breasts,
right.
There was nothing. I was never embarrassed by them. I was, when you're like really young and women are getting boobs and young 13-year-old boys say things. I know, and now you're massively
tits.
Huge.
Yeah, mosquito bite tits.
Because boys are mean.
Yeah, they are.
But in general, as an adult, I always really enjoyed having small breasts.
Right.
I can run, I can do anything. I don't, whatever. They don't
my
get in the
boobs
way.
Are huge, and I gotta
heavy,
strap them down to play soccer and stuff.
They don't jiggle. It was great. I always appreciated them. But then I nursed 5 boys.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I had indents with these really big hard nipples that were just there, that never go away, because I just had 5 boys nurse on them for 12 years.
Yeah,
I was nursing boys for 12 years.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. They're like workhorses. I have workhorse nipples.
You do have workhorse nipples,
and now they're pierced to make them pretty and fun. Yeah. But I'm still very insecure about them. Yeah. That is an insecurity, and so having my chest so exposed like that was really difficult for me. And I said the man's name that I'm seeing, because I knew that if I said his name, he would know I was being serious. And I'm I think you need to let me down. Mm-hmm. And he just held me and let me cry for a minute, and then I admitted what was going on. I'm embarrassed about my chest. And then they were all just so sweet, and I'm okay, I can continue. Tie me up again. Yeah,
but I
love bondage.
In an environment where you weren't able to do that and feel that and be held in that space, and reassured and loved on, it would not have been healing, but that is healing.
It is, because it's done with the right people in the right scene and the right setting. There's so much healing, because it's so vulnerable. It's the most vulnerable thing, to be naked. And then I had a spreader, first time ever having a spreader bar on. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I knew
great.
I would.
Yeah,
I like bondage and that stuff. So.
Yeah, they're so awesome.
Yeah, I really liked it.
I knew you would.
I know. You knew I would like all of it, didn't you?
I did.
It was all amazing. They asked what my favorite part was, and I'm I just loved it.
I don't know how to
I don't know.
pick.
It was just really great. I did say the spit roasting, though.
Oh.
Makes me feel a little weird to admit, but
I know. I feel weird to admit. I love spit roasting so much.
Amazing. It's given me a whole different perspective on women and women taking more than one man, and it's no, she's not being a whore. It feels freaking amazing.
Yeah, it does.
The space that I was in, I just
no, because there's so I really believe this. There's so much stimulation going on, you can't think.
Yeah.
You just feel.
No, for the first time ever, I went into long periods of time where I was not thinking.
You were just feeling.
That's been the goal that I've had for this whole time, engaging
and that's
in
therapy
BDSM.
all in and of itself.
To be able to shut down
Yeah.
your brain, my brain.
Yeah, and just feel. And just be in the moment. And be a very pleasurable moment.
So
on top of it.
How do you... I have one more thing to share. We're at 31 minutes. Should we just try and make it quick, or do you think...
Yeah, sure.
So one more thing. I just did a writing that I posted last night, and it's called Cut Queen.
I didn't read it yet.
And I'm going to be...
admittedly.
It's okay.
Okay.
And I'm going to be really honest about this, too. I'm just letting it all out today. If you want to see me vulnerable, here I am. Yep. Actually, no, that was Saturday night.
Well, we were pretty vulnerable here.
Only for a special few.
Yeah, right. That's very vulnerable.
Yeah, that's beyond. So I have this new fantasy, and I'm not saying that I'm going to play this out in real life or that I would be okay with that. I don't know. Not going there.
Not sure yet.
But this fantasy, I can't even believe that I have this, because it goes against everything that I've always thought in my brain up until this point in my life. Of the man I'm with tying me down. Actually tying me so I can't move while he fucks somebody else. And then completely degrading me through it. Like, it would have to be a woman with big, nice breasts and tell me how good they feel and how much he enjoys playing with them. I like the look on your face. You were like horny thinking about this. You like it a little bit too.
I do, yes.
Oh my gosh. And him, like, and me being in a place where I can see all of it, and her and him sometimes looking at me, and him just like looking at me while he reaches down slowly and sticks his fingers inside her and like then licks his fingers and just tells me how amazing she is and how good she tastes and how tight her pussy is when his cock's inside her, and then for him to like kiss her passionately, and then but he can't come.
No, his cum.
She doesn't get his cum.
Always.
And she doesn't get his cum.
Always.
But she gets to
Daddy's
orgasm.
cum is mine.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's mine. Because she's not his and he's not hers.
Right.
But it's just all about that degrading. It's all about being able to sit there. And I couldn't understand this before, and now I do, what that desire is in being like a cock and being degraded. So all this degrading happens, and then he gets to hold her for a few minutes after she comes. And then she gets dressed and she's got to go. Yep. And then he unties me, and then he makes love to me, and he gives me all of his cum.
Yes.
And I am his, and he is mine. And the thing that's so intriguing about it to me is that when I was younger, I was so extremely jealous and so extremely insecure. And there is a power that I feel inside me, and being able to sit there and watch that and the whole time know that she is nothing and I'm everything inside that man's mind. Yes, and that he is doing all of that just for me and to fuck my mind while he's fucking her.
Hell yeah.
And it's all about me.
That is exactly it.
And the thought of how hard he's going to come and his cock gonna pump inside of me afterwards, when he finally gets to be with me, and then he's going to hold me all night long and be with me, and he's mine without a thought of that woman who's gone.
Right.
There is something that feels so extremely healing and powerful and secure, and I feel like a fucking goddess at the thought of that.
Yes.
I thought it was such a degrading thing, and I'm like, no, it's like the opposite.
I'm like, oh, he's gonna want her and not me. Like, no. Like, I know. You have that knowing. You have that bond. Like, no, that man is mine.
I bet her pussy
He's in my head and I'm in his.
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, I bet her pussy tastes really good right now. You can't wait to be licking mine.
Yeah.
That's all you can think about right now is me in the corner tied up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of power in that.
There is.
This is what my
partner feels
what
powerful.
My partner will call topping from the bottom.
Topping from the bottom.
Yeah. I really like that because it's true.
Well, it fits the conundrum that is me.
It does.
Right?
Yeah, it does.
Because I am so submissive and gentle, and I am so strong and dominating.
Yeah.
All in the same human being.
Yeah, yep.
I desire to submit and to be a gentle woman.
Me too.
And
but
yet
we're super alpha too.
I have a lot of, it's the alpha female. It's like you're both.
Yeah.
Alpha slave, alpha female, topping from the bottom, whatever you want to call it.
I super wasn't expecting to submit myself the way I have to my partner.
I refused. Every profile I've had since I opened to this world, you've seen them. They've all said, I will not have a daddy. You will not degrade me. You will not do any of these things.
I don't even like putting submissive on a profile because I'm not.
Yes,
I'm only
exactly.
submissive. I've only become submissive to my partner because of our bond.
Yes.
I've never desired.
That's been created.
And I've never desired to submit myself to someone the way
you're
I do.
doing your new, which Meaghan hasn't been able to do for a couple days because she's got a lot going on in her life. But she's going to continue doing them as Meg's daily ridiculous DMs, which I love. So we've been getting these DMs, and so many times men are like, I'm looking for a sub. I'm a dom and I'm looking for a sub. I'm looking for a sub, and I'm like, I'm not a sub. No. My initial reaction is, I'm not a sub.
I'm not.
But do I absolutely
desire to be completely
the last couple days
dominated? Yes.
The last couple days, all I've been able to think about is that I want to drive to this man's house and I want him to open the door for me, and without a word, I want to walk inside, take my clothes off, spread my legs, down on my knees, and open my mouth and wait for him to stick his cock in it.
Oh, yes. That's my happy place right there.
I want to go do that, but we're not there in our dating for me to like just show up at his house. I wouldn't do that because I think that would cross a boundary at this point still. But man, that's all I can think about doing. It's just showing up and getting down on my knees and opening my mouth and waiting for him to just put it in. Yes. And then saying thank you, Daddy, and getting up and leaving. Say enjoy your work day. Bye.
Oh my gosh. Well,
just leave.
I've done that with my partner. We've met at a parking lot just for me to do that. And then
but imagine showing up without them knowing it while he's like working at home during the day, and I just randomly show up, open my mouth, don't say a word to him, let him come in my mouth, swallow it,
ultimate submission.
Stand up and look up at him and say thank you, Daddy, and then leave.
Yep.
Nothing else.
Just
not
to
another
please
word.
him for his work day. Yes, I know.
Oh,
I know. No. Oh.
Yep. Right?
Yeah.
I want to do that.
Yeah.
But no, that's not an invitation.
No, it's not. No, it's only with
But men out there listening, you can develop that.
It takes time.
It takes you respecting and caring for a woman
as a person,
treating her correctly,
like a human being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she can be that vulnerable, because it takes vulnerability.
She needs to feel heard and respected and cared for, and she will open up.
Yep. If this man made me feel like it would be okay for me to show up at his house, I would do it. I would leave right now and I would go do it after this. But that hasn't developed yet. Yes. That hasn't developed yet.
Yeah.
But if he had made me feel safe enough to do that at this point, I desire to do that and would do it.
Right. So in conclusion,
sex is fucking amazing.
Sex is
not just sex.
Therapy.
It's not all just about sex.
No.
BDSM isn't all about sex.
No, it's not. Because you could be bound up and just flogged
with clothes
and then let go
or whatever. Yes.
Right. No.
But
there's a lot of healing in the
BDSM when done right is extremely healing
with safe people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And being a safe person.
You
need to be a safe person.
Having good communication. Yes. Good boundaries.
And being able to be insightful and vulnerable.
Yeah.
You can't engage in that and have any healing if you don't allow yourself to be emotionally, mentally, and physically vulnerable.
Well, I am all for experiencing this for more therapy.
I can't wait to have more to share with you all.
Yeah.
So please like, subscribe, and share so we can keep coming back.
And we'll talk to you soon. We love you.